All right, No Cover TV podcast. That's right, it's Big Al, your host. I'm glad you're back checking out the No Cover TV podcast. We have a great show for you today, but of course, I got to chat with you for just a few minutes. You know, I appreciate everybody, and I mean everybody out there in the world checking out No Cover TV's podcast. We've had a lot of great artists, bands, interesting people on the show, and instead of playing just music like we used to do in the TV show, I get into these artists' heads. I want to know why, where, when, what, everything. And then we get a little bit of music out of them because I want to tease you because you need to go to the platforms. And what I'm talking about platforms is YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, etc., etc. Check these artists out. These artists are doing this because they like to put a smile on your face. They love doing what they're doing. And of course, the best thing for them is when they're playing their music, they're looking at you, watching you mouth the words to their music. And that means more than anything to them. It sticks in their heart and it stays with them forever, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So our guest today, and I will talk with you a little longer, can't wait any longer, John Sanger is in the house. How are you doing, John?
I'm great, Al. Thanks for having me, bud.
I am so honored you are here. I have been checking you out for many years. I'm not going to say many, but we're a little older.
Don't give it away.
Yeah. We don't want to give that one away. So you've been a busy guy.
I have been real busy.
Yeah. I've been doing a little research. Little research on you and stuff like that. And I see that, between solo, band material, you're doing quite a bit. Now we're going to go on the spaceship.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to tell you. Ready to go?
Board.
You on with me?
I'm ready.
All right. We're going back. All right. I do this with a lot of you. Why and what age did you pick that thing up? That guitar.
So I'm the youngest of seven.
Youngest of seven.
I'm a good Catholic boy, the oops baby. Yeah, I think the six kids and mom and dad were, at Disney, and while everybody was swimming at the Best Western or whatever, mom and dad snuck upstairs and
and it happened.
Here comes John, way after everybody else. But my older brothers, old enough really to be my parents, I'm like that I'm that far behind.
Okay.
And my brother Steve, my eldest brother, was a tugboat captain on the Mississippi and the Great Lakes, and he was like a rock star to me.
Wow.
And he flat picked blues, and he had like Mississippi John Hurt records and Skip James and Doc Watson and Leo Kottke and a bunch of, he was really into like flat picking and country blues and bottleneck slide and all that stuff. And when he was out sailing, I would just rifle through his records, and we had the big console thing, the big Zenith thing with the cloth on the front, and lift the top up.
Yes.
And I would listen to those records, and I was too young to really try to learn the stuff back then, but he would find like driftwood and pieces of bone and stuff, and when he was stuck in port, he would just whittle me something really cool.
All right.
And like mail me home a little like piece of art that he made, and he'd be like, "This is from New Orleans,"
Neat.
Where I was. And I would just listen to those records and check out his stuff that he made for me, and I just thought that was super cool.
That is.
During that same time frame, my brother Mike, who was in the Sanger Brothers band with me, that was Mike on the upright bass.
All right,
he had like a band that played school dances and stuff in high school.
Okay.
And so when I was little, my oldest sister Kathy would like always be baking something. And those dudes would be practicing like Eagles covers or whatever was popular.
It was popular at the time.
And then they'd get done and probably like sneak a beer in mom and dad's basement. And my sister would bring down like a big thing of brownies. And they had this old cheap parlor guitar. And way back like in the 60s, I don't know if you remember this song. I do, because my name is John. But that Jimmy Dean song, Big Bad John.
Big Bad John.
Big Bad John.
Big Bad John. I remember that.
So my brother Steve carved that into the spruce top of this old cheapo guitar, and I like filled it in with crayon, and that was like my air guitar. I don't think it really even had strings on it, but I would rock that out when my brother's band was
We all had the air guitar, didn't we? Yes.
Oh, yeah. So I just thought my older brothers were super cool, and I think that's kind of why I got into it.
Yeah. So when did you save up enough money to go to that guitar store and buy that first guitar?
Man, so I'm a Hollander by birthright. And so that would have been Dell's guitar. I don't know if you're familiar with
Dell's guitar.
But Dell Langyons is a really well-reputed guitar builder.
Okay.
And his nephew is getting pretty popular now in full chord.
Oh.
He's the flat picker in full chord. You always see him hanging out with Billy Strings and stuff.
Billy Strings doing real well.
Yeah, those cats are all doing real well.
They are.
So I would go to Dell's, and I took a couple lessons when I was little, and Dell's is where I got my first guitar for Christmas, actually. The thing that I think probably like comes in the cardboard box with the amp, the guitar, strap, and
right,
you know what I mean?
The little kit, right?
It was called a MX Magnum, I think.
There you go.
And it was just white chunk of plywood with just a black humbucker. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
It was like the Ibanez looking.
I still have my first.
So yeah, that was in the pointy guitar era. That was like in the 80s.
Oh, the great 80s.
I think I was 14 or 15 or somewhere in there.
Now, I've noticed with your music, you talked about your brother, but I can see a lot of inspiration coming from what he listened to. But you came into the 80s with a guitar.
Yeah.
And you were introduced to a whole new set of music.
Absolutely. So when I was a kid, it was, Sabbath, Priest, Crew, all that stuff. And glam was really big. So when I was like in 7th grade, 8th grade, like was when we had our first band. And my mom was like, just took care of all the derelict kids in my freaking band. We were all such losers, But she would make chili and spaghetti and all that. And I think the only square meals those dudes got was when they came to our house for band practice. And my mom was really amazing, rest in peace, at a bunch of things, but she was kind of the jack of all trades. She was president of Garden Club, sang in the church choir, played a little piano, all that. Beautiful. And I will never forget how my buddies would laugh because she would get us all around the piano because she couldn't stand us singing out of tune. And she was just like, no, it's like this. And she's like, talk dirty to me in her church voice.
Throw your right off.
Talk dirty to me on the freaking upright piano, which is totally like the middle A's out of tune and stuff.
That's wonderful.
But it would just kill her that we weren't nailing our parts, and she'd come down and like interrupt band practice and drag us all up to
this
the piano.
This way.
Yeah.
This way.
Correct her.
That's the way to do it. And you did learn from Mom, didn't you?
She was a powerhouse.
Now, I know with me, was there a first song you learned, you probably practiced it a million times. Did it ever drive your mother or father nuts?
I think my folks, if they would have had their choice, I think they were just happy they didn't buy me a drum set. I think that was calculated.
Yeah.
But I think if they would have had their way, they would have chucked that stupid MX Magnum guitar out the window if they would have heard Rock You Like a Hurricane one more time. That was the first riff. And you had to slide around from like 5 to 7 or whatever.
I love it.
I don't even,
Let's do it. Can you do it?
I don't even remember how to.
John's brought his guitar.
Yeah, right. So yeah, 7, 3, 5, and then skipping the strings. But I just remember like biting my lip and trying to get those bar chords.
I can remember I went to they used to have the library van that would drive around, and it had albums on it.
Yeah. I
picked up BTO. I heard Smoke on the Water. Yeah. That's the first song I ever learned. I played it every day for 8 hours a day. My mother could have killed me.
Oh, yeah.
And I can play barely now. I don't. And it was Stranglehold too. I also would play that one too. Yeah. So that drove Mom really crazy.
Oh no, it's Free for All.
Yeah, Free for All. I can't do that one. So
BTO was. It was so funny. I was. There's that one song that I cover once in a while. She's So High. You know?
Oh yeah.
Tal Bachman. And some dude in the crowd was like, that's Randy Bachman's kid. I'm like, I never even thought about it. I never even put it together.
Yeah, right.
That kid, that one-hit wonder kid in the 2000s. Anyway, I mean, it's a great. I love pop songs.
Oh, that's great.
But that's Randy Bachman's kid. I had no idea.
I wouldn't have known either. I wouldn't have known. And it's amazing. Like I look, Eddie Van Halen's kid. Amazing.
Holy cow!
What he's done with his career.
Yeah.
With the guitar and stuff like that. But we're talking about you, not everybody else here. You're the singer-songwriter. You do solo, but you brought me on a CD, and I think the dog's eating it right at the moment. Oh, we'll bend over.
She's my best friend.
Oh, she's your best friend. Yes, she is. Always being a good girl today.
She's like resting her nose on my shoe and thinking, I can smell all the breeds that this dude has at his house.
Well, let's talk about this CD. I got 4 gentlemen on here. Let's tell me who we got here.
Well, none of it would have happened without Joe Botwinski.
Yes.
And he has played in Head, and I think he played in Mesh back in the day, and all kinds of. He's like a local legend. And he had gotten COVID, and I was at a real low point, just hanging out. Like I was kind of just depressed, sitting around, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm just so sick of trying to get people to listen to me," And he called me, and he was like, "Man," he's like, "I'm listening to your last record," and he's like, "Let's just." Whatever new batch of stuff you write, just let me play on it. Let's just record some stuff. And I'm like, wow, that's flattering. So he just kind of got me off the couch, and I had no idea who Mike Luxford is. And he's just a smoking drummer. And he plays with Joe in Head. And back in the day, Head opened for Jane's Addiction when they played at Club Eastbrook, and opened up for Helmet a number of times. And I mean, they played a lot of big stages, and they had always kind of done the original music thing. And I've always written songs and put out a record every other year, but I've always kind of fed myself playing covers. And I said, I'm like moderately close to paying off my house, and I'm like, I'm not going to play covers every day anymore.
Yeah, it's time to do your own thing.
Time to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And so whenever possible, I'll pull in Everett Domeyer. He's the other guy you see pictured there. And I'm sure he's another local legend. He was in Dutch Henry and the Duchesnes, and all the, plays with Jack Lever still all the time. And Denny Middleton, and all these clowns that have been around town forever. We all
of us old guys.
All legends, And he is a bona fide wizard. So I basically play guitar and sing on the record. Joe Bot plays keyboards and bass. And Mike plays drums, of course. But everything else, all the weird stuff that you hear on there, Everett did the rest of it.
So I see we kind of got Everett.
And then Channing, too. I can't forget Channing.
Yeah.
She's got more like a special guest because she's busy with Verve Pipe and all that.
The Verve, yes, of course.
She's on with them a lot and stuff.
She is doing a lot, and I'm going to be talking to them soon too. The list keeps growing, but anyways, you're all seasoned veterans here.
That's true.
Now, how many years does this go back with you 4 guys, and then just you alone, starting with these guys?
Me alone, I started learning covers basically so I could write songs right at the get-go. Like as soon as I got through Rock You Like a Hurricane, I was making my own crappy songs.
Okay.
About, when my friend got hit by a car and got killed when I was a kid, and I wrote like a really mega heavy metal bashing song about that,
Yeah.
So my favorite part has always been writing, although it wasn't very good in the beginning. But the band is just just came together. So I'm always writing, and I go to Nashville a lot, and I meet with publishers a lot, and a lot of times my stuff is pretty good, but not necessarily commercial in the right way for Nashville sound.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I had a bunch of stuff that wasn't right for pop country radio that I still felt pretty strongly about, and Joe just loved it, and Joe just loved my last record. So that was just last year. We've really only been together for maybe like 9 months.
Well, remind me, you took one of my cards. I want to write a name on the back of that card so you can look this person up in Nashville. I think this person could help you out.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'm always up for
and she was actually on the show. I did a lot of work with her 20 years ago, and she has done a lot with her career.
Awesome.
And so, anyways, we're going to move on. I'm going to go to looking at the list here because you've done quite a bit of stuff. You're out, you're playing and stuff like that. And let's see, what do we got here? Now, you said a song a week for every 6 weeks. Every 6 weeks you're doing a new song.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Now, are you putting that on a little EP for people, or is it just a single?
Yeah, so we're releasing the songs digitally every 6 weeks, but we basically have everything wrapped up and recorded. So I do have a real limited run of CDs that we did for college radio.
All right.
Because, believe it or not, and I was really surprised by this, some of them don't want digital and they want LPs or CDs. I was really surprised.
It's coming back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wait till they say 8-track.
That's great. So I did a small run of those, and that's just my inner Dutchman coming out, which is, hey, man, if you are a cool enough friend to come out and see us, you can buy the CD and you can have all the songs early. But that's the only way to get them early. Otherwise, they're going to be coming out into the early parts of next year. This record.
So doing that, I'm not counting that many. How many single EPs do you have under your belt?
So we're going to be putting out 11 singles for this first effort with this band, and while we're putting those 11 out, so what we've been doing is we've been making videos for each song, and we're 4 or 5 videos deep. So we can be writing and recording the next record and making videos for the songs as they come out every 6 weeks. By the time these 11 come out, the next dozen or however many will be ready to start.
They're ready to pump out. You're doing it right. You're right behind the ball, and you're right up there.
So if I irritate you, strap in.
That's right.
It's not ever going to end.
It's not. I don't want it to end. That's what I like about us. We don't ever die.
That's right.
So, but
we'll never die.
I want to cut it a little short. Well, not short. I want you to play me a song. Throw me a song. Let's play the fans something. What do you got for me here?
I would be remiss if I did not play the single that's out right now.
All right, let's play the single that's out right now.
Which is Sit and Spin, which is just wrapped up its month-long run on KLQ for the Beer City Buzz Drive.
That's right, Beer City.
I was bearing in the Sit and Spin, ready to press my luck with a silver dollar. Well, that's when you showed up there, and I guess that's where we began. You drove the submarine, but not anymore. You were born before your time, but you got stranded, wrenching on the tugboat down in New Orleans. Tell me, what were you looking for? To hitchhike in the rain, to jump up, move and trade, only to make our way to the Sit and Spin. As you made me laugh, my dryer made a ding. It's my old t-shirt from the late great B.B. King. Well, once you got in a jail, way back then, he helped you keep moving. Jump up, move and trade, only to make your way to the superstar. We can start over again. It's where we match our socks and we sort out our blues. And I looked down at the ceiling and I knew what I should do. But when you needed me, he went home with you to help you hitchhike in the rain. Jump up, move and trade, only to make your way to the city stand. We can start over again. Yeah, the city stand. We can start over again. Yeah.
We can't get any better than that, John. Wow.
I think Zoe thought I was mad at her. She's like,
Zoe was going, what is that about? That was the number one single, Zoe. Wow. Very incredible, John. And your vocals, I like that.
Thank you, buddy.
You got them right up there. And I think you could just get one more octave out of you. I think I could push one more out of you. I think I could.
You might need a vice grip or something.
Right. I got carry players with me when I book people or my acoustic artists, so we'll get that note out of you somehow. But that was beautiful. Well, we're going to try to get two more out of you, but we got to talk a little bit. Let's talk about the business a little bit. You've been in it for a while. Mm-hmm. We're not going to say years or how long. We won't date ourselves. You played quite a few venues in this town, out of this town, in Michigan.
Yeah.
Have you done any tri-state stuff? Have you got on the state and done anything?
Not much. I played at the Elbow Room in Chicago.
All right.
Did a couple shows in New York many years ago.
Many years.
Naturally played a little bit in Nashville and a little bit in LA. I lived in LA for a while.
Yeah, LA's nice. I lived there too.
So no, and I'm really focusing on the college radio thing. So hopefully, 89X and Michigan Station, maybe CMU, Grand Valley. Hopefully these places I'd like to start widening the circle out a little bit. Yeah. And I'm also building a stage in my backyard, and I'm going to start bringing people through at my place. And I'm hoping that we can trade venues and get things going so that I'll have buddies to trade gigs with. I just need to make a route that makes sense.
Right. Have you noticed in the years that it's easier now to perform with others without having to compete with them?
Yeah.
Are they more helpful, more generous, more, hey, do a gig with me, instead of, I don't care for what you do, move on?
I would say absolutely yes, but I would say maybe that's a maturity thing and an age thing. So I only hang out with quote unquote rival musicians that are that way.
Yeah.
So we all pull each other up, and if there's anybody that's the old school 80s, my band could beat up your band people, I don't hang out with those people. So I'm sure it's out there, but I wouldn't know.
Yeah. And I am the same way. I don't need BS in my life anymore.
Right.
And unfortunately, back in the day in the TV show, there were two bands that came in with some attitudes that thought they were rock stars.
Yeah.
Well, I pulled them by the back of the shirts and threw them down the steps and all their gear and everything with them, and they were never on TV.
Yeah, that's not really appealing. It's some people have a hard time kind of getting past that, I guess, but
It can get to your head. It can go to your head sometimes. And sometimes it can do some bad stuff up there. But if you can think straight, get your music going on the right direction, you can do a beautiful thing with it. And you can open up your hearts and minds and souls to people that never heard something like that before.
You bet.
And it's an incredible thing. It's a very incredible thing. Yeah. It's very rewarding, very rewarding. Now, you were on, 105.1 KZoo too. When was that?
Yeah, that was, that might have been the one that was several years ago, or that might be the alternate station of Jethro that's just not in our area. So I don't know, because they have a bunch of call letters. Okay. So I think that's what that is, and it's over here. It's 94.9. So Jethro is Dave Conrad, who was at B93 forever.
Exactly. Oh yeah, he's been there forever. Forever.
Man, he was super cool and super fun, and I really appreciated him and Matt Monroe getting me in on that show too.
That's cool. That's so cool.
But they're kind of low wattage, so they have like 6 stations because. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You get out to Lowell, and it's a different.
Yeah, you get to a different station. Yeah, exactly. You got to connect.
Exactly.
So, and that's what I like about podcasts. It's worldwide.
Yeah.
I push a button, and it's gone. Yeah. And it's like on 5 different platforms, just like that.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. And is your music on these platforms?
Yes. So,
how do we find your music? How do we get it?
Basically, we tried to keep it really simple. We had to keep it really simple. So it's John, John, Sanger, Sanger.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you'll search on Spotify. And it's that corny logo of just my glasses and my goatee that looks like me. Although there's more hair on the logo because I was cutting my hair distracted.
Hey, bald's all right.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that this isn't headed in that direction, but I was returning phone calls and I was trying to book a gig, and I did the fade on this side, and then I was like, yeah, I can do that date, and I felt like rip, and I was like, damn, dude, I never put the guard on for the other side, so I just had to take it down to nothing.
It all went.
So, yeah, this is... Don't get me wrong. I think a few more years, and I'm going to have to be shaving it like this anyway. But.
Yeah, I stick with number 3. Military cut all the way.
But yeah, it's just my name. We were going to try to call the band New American Playlist, but we had to call the album New American Playlist because playlist is such a common term that when it comes to Spotify and all those places, you cannot. It just is not advisable.
Right, and you've got 2, 4, 6, like 9 songs on here.
We got 11 songs on there, which is
holy shit. I'm off.
No, not really.
So you added some tracks?
No.
Wow.
Everything's grassroots. Me and my son did the artwork, and we effed it up. So
well, at least you're honest.
There's a quote-unquote hidden track on there.
The hidden track that we play backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I was just one of my friends, Scott Benting.
Okay, let's talk about a song or two here. Let's go. Well, you just played Sit and Spin.
Yeah.
Sit and Spin is number 1.
Yeah.
And I'm not going there.
Okay.
All right, because you might tell me something they might want to hear. I don't know if I want to hear.
Okay. Right.
So let's go to Blood on the Lace. What is that about?
That's a ghost story.
Ghost story. I like ghost stories.
Yeah. So, well, let me say, is that one you're going to want me to play? You're going to want me to play that one? If I give you the story, it's going to kind of wreck the song a little bit. It's
under 4 minutes.
It's a little bit longer one, so I'll just tell you the story real quick.
Play it.
All right.
Blood on a Lace.
Yeah, here we go. Face down in bed Sunday morning, a cold nose nudges me. I love that damn dog even more if he'd let me sleep. We negotiate for slippers, and I get to my feet. Newspaper had gotten wet. Did it rain yesterday? It's hard to see a hit and run when you get it that way. It's a photo of a covered body and some running shoes. With blood on the lace, right there in front of me. Blood on the lace, for everyone to see. Blood on the lace. Well, I lost my appetite, but I can smell the coffee brew. And the neighbors burning leaves, guess I should rake mine too. Just get it together and forget about the news. And blood on the face, right there in front of me. Blood on the face, for everyone to see. Blood on the face. Did I lose track of time, or is my memory failing? Those running shoes look just like mine, but I am probably dreaming. People bring a dish to pass and pay their last respects. Funny, they don't seem to care that I'm underdressed. In shorts and running shoes, well, you can guess the rest. There's blood on the face, right there in front of me. Blood on the lace, for everyone to see. Blood on the lace. Blood on the lace.
Blood on the lace. I can tell there was a lot of passion in that song.
So that was one of my first ones for a writing group, a local writing group that I'm in called Song Hall with Kyle Rashi, who's an amazing songwriter. And so, yes, lace, they just give you a word.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, shoelace would be cooler than like a lace doily or something. You know? And then I saw one of those memes that was like from The Sixth Sense. Mm-hmm. It's like, how pissed would you be if you were found out you were dead and you've still been going to work for 6 years?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, what if there's a story about a dude that doesn't know that he's dead? Well, at the end, he finally figures it out. You know?
That song right there took me back. You know, being a musician and the travels I have been through and throughout the country.
Mm-hmm.
You brought me back to the desert.
Oh, cool.
By myself with my guitar.
Yeah.
And Route 66.
That's awesome.
And I can feel you and see you and hear you playing beside me as I'm going.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love that.
And I hit the town Truth or Consequences in New Mexico.
Yeah.
That is a small town of about 1,000 people, if that.
Yeah.
And I had long hair at the time. I decided maybe a trim. Well, I ended up being in there 4 hours among 3 80-year-old ladies that wanted to talk about everything and anything that didn't know what the real world was about.
That's totally on brand.
And they invited me over for dinner and all that stuff. So that was the real world, and you're not going to find that pretty much anymore, unfortunately.
You want to know how small the real world is? Talk about old people living in TRC.
Yeah.
My wife's parents live there.
Did they really?
It's totally the deal. Yeah, they're there right now.
That's
sure
beautiful.
They would talk to you for 3 hours while you're
That's what I love. I'm a listener. I love stories. And you love to give stories.
What a weird coincidence that you got stuck there.
I was right there. I was in the Jeep. The guitar was right there. The hair's gone, and just the sand's everywhere.
That's amazing.
So, gosh. Well, we got the band together, and you're doing solo projects.
Yeah.
Now, you've been playing all the venues out there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, did you jump on YC?
Yeah. John Sinkovics has been a big supporter.
That's what I thought, because my studio's just right down the hall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's very good that they were treating you good.
Yeah, and I've walked by your studio and thought that it would be cool to do something there, but I've never done it. So.
Yeah, I stopped in 2013, and I started in '97. So
yeah,
it was in the time. Being on TV took a lot out of me.
Yeah,
yeah, and then hundreds and hundreds of bands later. Yeah, so we'll do it this way now. You don't need to see my face on TV. What I wanted to ask you is, all these years you've been playing, is there one place, one person that you might have played with that you'll never forget?
Let me think about that. Oh, hey, I got a cool story. Yeah. So, when I lived in LA, I played in a band with my buddy Will Ferguson, who's just an amazing songwriter and a super funny dude. And the drummer in that band was killer. His name is Karma Auger.
Karma Auger. Oh.
Yeah, Karma Auger. Total hippie name. And the reason for that is his dad is the pretty damn famous Brian Auger, who had hits in the 60s and was a really accomplished jazz musician.
Wow.
Kind of like a fusion dude.
Yeah.
And he recorded with records with Jimmy Page and the whole bit. They were session cats back then.
Oh, beautiful.
And he was a super duper free spirit. We would go over after gigs for dinner at his house, and it was totally California. We'd grilled burgers, but it was portobello.
Yeah, right. They had all this stuff.
Karma's mom had a girlfriend that lived in the guest house, and Brian was just cool with it. You know what I mean? Stuff that doesn't really happen in Michigan doesn't. But that's cool.
When I moved out to California, I was like, "What is this? This is not Michigan. No, I want to go back home." But I got used to it after a while. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Karma Auger and his dad, that was the coolest thing. And I found a recording of us playing live, and for some reason we just have this recording of us live at this club with Will introducing the band, and it's the funniest freaking thing. I'm so glad I found it. I'm gonna just throw it up on my Facebook page.
To be able to find those old songs,
because he's introducing the band. He's like, I like the fit of your tad pink sweater. It's this Cornell jazz thing.
Oh, there you go.
That reads, "I'm with stupid in baby blue letters," and then he just introduces the whole band and stuff. I'm like, what a random. I don't even know why or how that got recorded, but it's amazing. And that features Karma Auger on the drums.
Why do I got to do this? Put glasses on. I want one more song, Nadia.
Yeah.
All right. We just said spin. We've been Blood on Lace. Broken Toys.
Yeah.
Broken Toys.
That one would be a little bit harder to do live because it's more of a band thing.
I'll skip that one.
But I can eke it
Lemonade.
Out. Yeah, that's a good one.
Lemonade. Let's do Lemonade, and that'll be the last song from John, and we'll talk, and we'll get out of here.
Lemonade's the next single coming out too, so that'll be out on the 28th, just in time for our show at Billy's on the 30th.
Billy's on the 30th.
Yeah.
All right.
There's going to be a bunch of GR royalty at that show too.
All right.
sour, and I can be hard to take. But sugar, you are just so damn sweet. I'm gonna get a toothache. And when I feel like a lemon, you find a place in the shade that we can have all to ourselves. And I know we got it made. It's gonna take some time, probably all our lives, holding your hand in mine, making that sweet lemonade. Well, some guys just want grass that's greener, some are just plastic and fake, but I know exactly just what I want. It's gonna take some time, probably all our lives, holding your hand in mine, making that sweet lemonade. Here we go! And I know I ain't no picnic, and I know I get bitter some days, and I don't know how you stay so damn patient when I get stuck in my ways. It's gonna take some time, probably all our lives, holding your hand in mine, making that sweet lemonade. Lemonade, making that lemonade, making that sweet lemonade.
Awesome. That was off the New American Playlist. We just had them play Sit and Spin, Blood on the Lace, and of course, Lemonade.
Yeah.
Awesome, John. Thank you for performing those songs
Thanks,
for
Big Al.
us.
I really appreciate it.
The fans and the listeners are loving it. I'm not done with you quite yet.
It's okay.
What is the future for the band and you?
Well, when it started, I was just looking for people that wanted to help me cut demos to bring to Nashville. And then it grew into something more than that, and it seemed to kind of get legs a little bit. And we didn't even knowingly really submit anything to KLQ. That just kind of happened.
Great.
And so we're just really excited. And, I'll turn 50 this year, and I think it'd be cool to be,
it's a great turning point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool to be happening at 50 and just say that I did it. I'd never quit, never give up.
Never give up.
Okay.
Once you got that music in there, it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
I may have stopped playing in 97, but I've never stopped in the rock and roll business or the business.
I went a lot heavier after the cancer thing, and then going into COVID and stuff like that. I was just like, wow, you never know when it's just all over. So I'm hitting it pretty hard.
Yeah, it's like I wrote all these songs, and it's like the band stops. It's like, what do I do with all these songs now? Because I can't really put the drummer or singer to replace it all without rewriting a little bit of it all. So it's just like, we'll figure it out someday.
Cool, man. Good to have projects.
Always projects. You see them hanging out with stuff. Awesome. So yes, the 80 guitars, the 70 guitars. But anyways, any obstacles you've been finding around town when you've been trying to play out?
Yeah.
How is the pay going? Has it been getting any better over the years? Are you still getting the door money? Are they paying to play? Are you getting a flat fee? What's going on?
I totally cherry pick. So I get paid, I feel, exceptionally well considering where it came from. So for the business gigs, which I do, like I said, to fund trips to Nashville and cutting demos and writing and recording original music, I hate to use that phrase, but it's like, yeah, don't get out of bed for less than $300 or whatever. But I kind of draw some lines in the sand.
Well, you have to. You've earned that.
$200, $300, $400, $500 for a solo gig. I do that. And then as far as original music, you have to really create a draw. And we just played our first show at Tip Top, and it was super packed and it was awesome. Wasn't a huge moneymaker, but the collective musicians in Grand Rapids love the Tip Top for reasons other than money.
Right.
Certainly
it's a great place. The only thing that sucks is the parking, but other than that, yes, it's a great place.
So,
and Turnstiles, I heard, is doing pretty good too for the bands out there.
Yeah. There again, it's, I think
they're coming and going. They're just,
I think we're playing there in November. I'm stoked to do it, but usually Turnstiles and Tip Top, it's like 2 or 3 band bill, and then
yes,
I mean it's that way for
then you
got to
split it all up,
right? And it's that way until we're packing the place, and then what I mean. It's like that for everybody, and then all of a sudden the Verb Pipe is on the radio, and it's
they all stop listening to you when they're listening to the Verb.
Right. And so like we kind of experienced that last month with our single on the radio. It was like really easy for us to get that place 20 people over capacity, and it was awesome. And
that's great.
If we would have been playing by ourselves monetarily, that would have been a good night. But
yeah.
It just, we're not doing that part of it for money yet.
It'll come. So the future for the band looks very bright.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
That's for sure. And you're going to keep playing out. And let's talk about the gigs that are coming up. You just mentioned Billy's.
Yeah, that's the big one for everybody to focus on right now. So
what's the date on that one?
That's Sunday, April 30th. So you guys need to put on your big boy pants because you'll be up late on a Sunday, but you should do it. It's going to be amazing.
Who's on the bill?
Sonny Ski, a hip-hop artist who's incredible, rap champion locally in scenes that I'm not young and hip enough to be a part of, but just absolutely incredible. We hope to actually do a collaboration with him in the near future.
Great.
And then Electroline, which is going to be kind of like a groovy alternative thing. And Dust Bus is going to be there.
Wow, that's going to be a heck of a
really
show.
Cool.
That's going to be a really cool show.
Yep. And Mesh is going to be there.
It's an all-day event.
Yeah, it starts at 6:30, and then we probably won't be done until like 10 at night. We're going to do the last act.
Yeah, wow.
It's going to be really cool. So like I said, it's really
Go Billies.
Kind of like old school rock royalty. So if you were around like in the 90s and 2000s, it'll be like you'll see some cool. I mean, Steve Aldridge. Like I don't see him playing out that as much as like back in the day. You'd see him all the time. But
I love Billy's, and of course, Intersection was across the street in the day, and Mulligan's and stuff. So we all just bopped around those 3 bars, and I would videotape everybody and promote them and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So also what we got going on here, we're going to be wrapping it up here, but 2 more things for you to ask.
Sure.
Advice for any of the upcoming artists. You've been playing quite a long time. Anything for these 17, 18-year-olds that are picking up an instrument? What advice do you got for them to try to do what you're doing?
Yeah, I would say be collaborative and be supportive of other people. Building other people up will, the rising water raises all boats, as they say, or something like that.
Yeah.
And be positive and take risks, not stupid risks, but just stay after it.
Take a chance.
And be disciplined.
Yeah. Practice.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It pays off in the long run. In the long run.
Yeah.
So,
it's about the journey, as they say.
Right. And as we wrap this up, this is your time for you to say anything you want to anybody you want, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. You say what you want, John, to the audience, the fans, the listeners around the world.
Well, I would really just like to thank everybody for being so supportive over the years and letting me indulge myself in trying to make music for everyone. And I would be remiss if I didn't say I really want to thank Joe Bot too for kind of pulling me off the couch and getting me to do some stuff.
That's great.
He's a really kind and generous spirit, and he's just an amazing dude. And if you know him, then you know that.
Yes. Yeah.
But I'm very appreciative just to be above the dirt, as they say.
So check John Sanger out on Spotify, the platforms. You can pick up the CD, the New American Playlist. I can pick this up, right?
You can pick that up at gigs. And the most important thing for you to do really is to pre-save on Spotify. Because we're writing those pitch letters. And the most important thing for us to get new followers is to get on Americana and indie country playlists.
Gotcha.
To get exposed to new people so that they start buying T-shirts and we can book gigs in bigger cities. And
right. Now, do you have a website set up for merch possibly?
Everything is under John Sanger, so you can get merch. I do have an online store, but frankly, the easiest thing is just kind of running everything from Facebook and Instagram.
So they can look you up on Facebook.
Yeah, that's the easiest
way to get hold of it.
And then just shoot me a message because the online store, oh my gosh, you have to teach yourself to be everything nowadays. The online store that I put together is not supported by Spotify, so I have an online store that's kind of just nowhere.
It's a pain in the butt, I tell you, sometimes.
They want you to use Shopify, and it's $35 a month. And I'm like,
they want to charge you a little for this, a little for that, and it all adds up, doesn't it? There goes your mortgage.
Oh, man, it's just ridiculous. So.
Again, folks, I appreciate you stopping on the No Cover TV podcast. Big Al, your host, John Sanger in the house, playing his guitar and playing some awesome songs and reminiscing me back to the times of being on the road. I love it. Wow, I can still feel the grit in my mouth from the sand.
That's right.
So check them out on the town. Can they see your dates if they go to John Sanger or on their site or anything? Or just
if you go to Facebook, you'll see the dates. And the best thing is to reach out and have me put you on the mailing list because that's the most comprehensive. So right now I've got 500 and some odd people on the email list, and that's definitely where I'm sending you early links so you can hear things early.
Great.
Letting you know. So at basically the first of every month. I'm shooting an email, and that's pretty comprehensive. Otherwise, if you're in my loop of social media onslaught, you're just going to see little 15-second TikTok videos of where the gigs are this week.
Good deal.
Blah, blah, blah.
Well, John, thank you very much for coming on No Cover TV's podcast. It's good to see you, old friend. It's been a long time, brother. And I'm going to do an applause for you. You got the applause for you there. So everybody's loving you. Check out John Sanger and his music. Pick it up. Check out Spotify, all the platforms he's on. He's got videos on YouTube, I heard. So check those out too. Get a hold of him. This guy will pick up his guitar. He will play for you. And he will blow you away. He will just blow you away. So, John, we're out of here. Thank you so much. You have a great one. All right, brother?
You too, buddy.
Peace.